A bottle of brains. Once, not too long ago, there lived a fool who wanted to buy a bottle of brains because he was tired of being laughed at and tired of getting into trouble because of his foolishness. He was told that he'll be able to get what he was looking for from an old gypsy woman who lived up on a hill. She dealt with potions and herbs and spells and things. So the fool asked his mother if he should go out and seek the gypsy woman and buy a bottle of brains. That you should do, answered his mother. You're sorely in need of some brains, but mind your manners when you speak to the gypsy, for gypsies are easily displeased. So off went the fool right to the top of the hill. There he found a gypsy sitting by a fire and stirring a big pot. Good evening, ma'am, he said. It's a fine night. That it is, replied the old gypsy as she continued stirring. Maybe it'll rain, said the fool, nervously sloughing one foot to the other. Maybe, replied the gypsy. But maybe it won't, said he. Maybe not, said she. And he scratched his head and twisted his hat, so embarrassed that he was about to ask for brains. Well, the fool asked, we've talked about the weather. Let's talk about crops. They're getting fine. Fine. And the beasts are getting fat. They are, she replied with a smile. Well, I guess I've done enough polite talking, said the fool. Now let's talk business. Have you any brains for sale? That depends, replied the gypsy. If you want a king's brains or a soldier's brains or a teacher's brains, the answer is no. I don't keep those. Oh, no, said the fool. I just want ordinary brains fit for anyone. You know, the kind that everyone else has. Well, I might be able to help you out with that, said the gypsy, but you'll have to do something for me. And what might that be? Bring me the one thing you like best in all the world, and then I'll tell you where to get a bottle of brains. But how can I do that? Said the fool, completely puzzled. That's not for me to say. Find out for yourself, lad. But when you bring me that thing, I'll have to ask you a riddle. Only in that way will you be able to tell if you have brought me the right thing. The fool returned home and told his mother what the wise gypsy had said. Then do as she asked, advised the lad's mother. Certainly it would be good for you to buy some brains. Then you would be the same as everybody else. I guess I'll have to bring a pig, said the fool. I like bacon more than anything else in the world. The next day he visited the old gypsy again. This time she was sitting in a rocking chair leafing through a large book. Good evening, ma'am, said the fool. I've done what you told me. Here's a pig, my very favorite object. Is that really what you'd like the best? Asked the old gypsy woman. And give me an answer to this riddle. What can run, although it has no feet? Bud scratched his head and thought, but he couldn't think of an answer. Be off then, said the woman. Since you ain't answered the riddle, you can't have brought the right thing. No brains for you today. She slammed the great book shut and turned her back on him. Very disappointed, the fool returned to his home and told his mother what had taken place. Suddenly he slapped his hands together with great enthusiasm. Now I know what the old lady meant, he said. I just didn't understand it correctly at first. It's you, Mother, I like best in the whole world. You'll have to come with me tomorrow so that I'll be able to buy a bottle of brains. The next day, mother and son set out for home with the old gypsy. Good evening, ma'am. This time I've surely brought you the right thing. We'll see soon enough, answered the old woman. Tell me this. What is yellow and shines, though it isn't gold? The fool scratched his head and thought, but he couldn't think of an answer. Well, obviously you haven't brought me the right thing, lad, so I can't help you. But indeed, I can see that you really could use that bottle. You're an even bigger fool than I thought. Well, that's true, moaned the lad. As he descended the hill with his mother, he met a young girl. Why are you so unhappy, fool? She asked. He explained to her what had happened. That's very bad, said the girl. And there's no one who can help you, she asked. No one, said the fool. Well, I'll help take care of you, she said. Will you really? Why not, replied the girl. People say that fools make good husbands. Can you cook? Asked the fool. Yes, I can. And sew? Yes. Let's get married. But what about the bottle of brains? As long as you have me to look after you, it doesn't matter really whether you get that bottle or not. True, true. And off they went to get married. The young bride kept the house so clean and so neat and cooked so well that one evening the fool said, Wife, it is you I like best in all the world. Why don't you come up with me to the old white woodsman on the hill? Maybe I'll still be able to get that bottle of brains. The next morning they walked up the hill together. Good morning, ma'am, said the fool. I've brought you what I like best in the world. We'll soon find out enough, replied the gypsy. Tell me, what runs without feet? And his wife whispered in his ear. Water, said the fool. And what does yell and shine so it isn't gold? Said the gypsy. And again his wife whispered into his ear. Why, the sun, said the fool. Can you tell me what has no legs at first, then 2 legs, and ends up with 4? The fool thought and thought and thought. When he couldn't answer its question, his wife whispered into his ear for the 3rd time. Tadpole, said the fool. That's right, said the gypsy, and I can see that you have a bottle of brains already. And where's the bottle? asked the fool. In your wife's head, laughed the gypsy. The only cure for a fool is to find a good wife to look after him. That you have done. So be off. The fool and his wife went home together. Never again did he think about buying any brains, for his wife had enough for the 2 of them.